Pluckers and pickers unite! We have the powerful Steve Miceli on the show. Welcome to Six String Sit Down. Let's get started. All right, Steve, I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah,
I know
man,
you're a
thanks for
busy
having
guy,
me.
and this is a highly anticipated episode, so I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks, man.
So we're going to get off with a couple soft tosses here.
All right.
How old were you when you first started playing, and what was that lit the spark for you?
I first started really playing when I was about 12, 13. And the first thing that lit the spark was, and you and I talked about this, was I saw the video for Panama, for Van Halen's Panama, and I saw Eddie Van Halen like dangling on something, and I was like, oh man, I think I want to play guitar. And my parents were nice enough. My dad's like, Italian, okay, gets me a guitar, and then it sat there for a couple years. It just, I would look at it and I would tell people I play guitar, but I didn't. And then I moved. I got in a neighborhood, didn't have any friends, and it just seemed like the thing to do. I was like, maybe I can get this thing to work. So I started playing, and then that was it. Like once I really started kind of getting into it, it was just inseparable.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
What was that guitar? Do you remember what it was?
Yes, the first one I had was a Cort SG copy.
Nice.
And I beat on that thing for a while, and then I actually got a Kramer Beretta, a white Kramer Beretta. Like Eddie Van Halen had it in a magazine, and it just had one pickup and one volume, no tone, and it had the whammy bar. And I had that guitar, and I loved it.
Squeals and dive bombs for days.
Oh, dive bomb for days, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So did you take lessons growing up, or were you self-taught, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, I tried to take lessons, but it was really hard for me to just connect with the teacher. So I'd go into these teachers, and they were older, and they'd be trying to get me to play like Kumbaya and all this like row, row, row your boat. And I was just stubborn. I was like getting into rock and metal, and I didn't want to play any of that stuff, So I took some lessons from a guy named Andy Logue, who's a monster guitar player around here. I took a few lessons from him. I took some from Chris Malinowski.
Nice, yeah, I know Chris.
Yeah.
He's an awesome player, man. Great guy.
Amazing player, great person. But beyond that, it was more like self-taught in the beginning. Yeah.
Nice, man. Awesome, dude. So you eventually, fast forward a little bit. You told me you spent a little time, like a year or so in Berkeley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was that experience like, man? What did that do for your playing?
To be honest with you, for me personally at that time, I got more out of meeting people there that were playing and jamming with people than I actually did from necessarily like the professors teaching and stuff. Nothing against them. I'm sure they were great. Again, I was kind of in that stubborn stage where, I thought I knew everything. But I met and still lifelong friends now to this day that were just killer players and different styles and so that's pretty much what I got out of it. And then I had a good friend of mine who graduated, and he was teaching and kind of playing in working bands, and I was like, well, I can do that now. And I can save, $100,000 of student loans. So it just kind of seemed like the thing to do to come back and just start over.
Awesome, man. Well, in your bio, it says that you toured the U.S. with national act 8 Days Gone.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was amazing. We had a national distribution, and we did a lot of festivals. So the bigger gigs we did were festivals with we did stuff with Collective Soul, Shinedown, Puddle of Mud, and we'd be on the bill for these festivals, and it was weird because we were getting airplay. It was a lot of Midwest and Southern stuff that we were getting this airplay in. So we would show up radio stations. We do this. Our song was like charting on these stations and everything. And the funny thing is though, so MTV's gone by this point too,
right.
like as far as videos or
besides
whatever.
reality TV. It's
right.
basically what it
so
is.
Nobody knows who we are. So we're opening and we're trying to save the radio song for the closer of that. So you could just tell people were just kind of, there'd be 6,000-7,000 people in these little pavilions, arenas. And we'd be playing, and it was lukewarm. Like I think most people were like, "All right, when's Puddle of Mud coming on or something?"
Right.
But then we'd play the single, and then it was like 6,000 people singing your song, and we were just like, "What the heck is going on here?" Because then I guess people put the dots together, like, "Oh, this is that band that I've been hearing on the radio." So that was an amazing experience. Met a lot of great people, and just got to understand more of the business.
Right.
And at that time. CDs were starting to go out. I think MySpace was in contention there, and the music business was just changing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to believe it. I remember management telling me like nobody's gonna buy CDs, and I was like, "You're crazy, man. Everyone's gonna buy CDs till the day they die, man." And that now I don't buy CDs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, phone, exactly. So the business was changing, and ultimately, what really ended up happening is that we just couldn't get over that hurdle,
Yeah.
and so I'd been working in cover bands before, and it just seemed like a natural thing to just go back to being a working musician.
Now, did you join them after they had already written all their stuff? Were you a part of that process?
I wrote some of the newer stuff with them, but they had a great stable of songs. And the drummer that was in that band is the drummer in LauraLea and TrippFabulous.
Awesome.
So we we're lifelong best friends now. And he's just a crazy talented guy. So, but yeah, so I'd written with them, and but they already had great songs. They didn't need me for that. They just wanted another guitar player. But
right.
I was just there for decoration.
Well, so you eventually you become an original founding member of TrippFabulous. Mm-hmm. Still going to this day.
Yeah.
So you get into the cover band scene, which you said you did a little bit before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so after all this time, what's your favorite cover song to play live still?
God, it's such a trick question.
I'm sure it changes all the time, based on the set list and stuff. But
from a guitar playing perspective, solely a guitar playing, not because we closed the night with Zombie from the Cranberries every night for the last 15, 16 years of my life. But what we do at the end of it, we definitely kind of do our own version.
Sure.
We throw in some like Zeppelin at the end and some Metallica, and we get, and it's pretty much my free-for-all to just do whatever on the guitar. So, that's always fun because night to night it can change. So, yeah, and then every once in a while we'll learn something. I'm trying to think of what we've learned recently. It's so hard because it's just constantly, learning songs. But, yeah, I guess probably that, just because I know at the end I'm going to get to kind of cut loose a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, I like to ask this to cover band guitarists too, because it's kind of a fun question. What songs did you think were kind of gonna be like easy, that were a little more challenging than you like anticipated? Maybe a pop song or something, or like, that'll be a walk in the park, and it kind of
good
tripped you up a little bit.
Sometimes it's the simplest song that has 3 chords over and over and over and over, but there's stops.
Yes.
So then I have to pay attention to what the lyrics are, and that I tune out a lot of times.
I'm not a lyric guy.
You know what I mean? I just do, and shamefully. So typically those are the ones that I seem to get tripped up on the most, is the 3 chords. And you just like, I hear them and I'm like, and you can almost pick them out as you're driving, going like, okay. And then I go to like rehearsal and I'm like, Laura, what's the lyrics again? So those typically seem to trip me up the most. When there's solid verse, chorus, bridge, solo, great, perfect. But when they're the same thing over and over, those seem to trip me up the most.
That's Jordan said American Pie. It's kind of like that, where it's just like there's like a lot of verses, and the verses are just long and long and long, and like Bob Dylan type stuff, where it's just a lot of words being rambled off.
And that does go on and on for days. Yeah.
Well, I guess I kind of so you got the gig for the National Touring Act. You've been in some cover bands. kind of, you're also a teacher and stuff. I was wondering, do you have any advice on, as far as going to get like an audition? Obviously, there's some variables as far as, some people, your look and stuff like that. But as far as preparation, what would you say is advice to give to someone if they want to go get a gig? A list that they can check off. I've done all this. Give it their best shot.
I think a couple things. I think obviously be prepared. Learn it. They'll give you usually a list of some songs. Learn the songs. Know them inside and out. And also don't have cheat sheets. You want to be able to go in prepared to where you can start the song and finish the song without looking at a piece of paper or an iPad or something like that, because that just shows that you were dedicated to the audition. And frankly, I think another big thing is just be cool, be laid back. There's a lot of great people around here. I've made so many friends, very talented and just super sweet guys and girls. To me, that's like the biggest thing is your character, because that's really what you have left. You can always be replaced. Yeah. I always look at that way in my band, is that, Laura can go get anybody to play guitar for her. Why wouldn't you? And, I just think that your attitude and you got to be willing and open-minded about change in songs. If you love Metallica and that's what you want to do, maybe a top 40 cover band isn't the right avenue for you.
Yeah.
But if you're, you do learn a lot being in a cover band, because you cover all kinds of styles all the time.
That's great for your chops.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps you on your toes, and so for any guitar player that wants to work, I definitely recommend it if you can deal with it. I love the musical integrity of the original stuff, and God bless all those guys that's what they're pushing. And I'm a little older now. I have,
I've been there. You've been there, done
that.
Yeah,
and it's a lot harder to take that chance and be like, all right, well, I'm going to be on the road for 9 months and I'm going to make 3 cents.
Yeah.
My per diem's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to live.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. And like you said, man, you actually made a great point. That's something that every guitar player needs to hear, man. There's so many monster players.
Absolutely.
You go on Instagram, YouTube. There's so many great players. You got to be a good hang.
Yeah.
You can't be a jerk. You can't be closed-minded. You can't have a huge ego. You got to just be a great hang. That's most important.
I agree, 100%. Yeah.
So, well, that moves me to my next question. Dude, you're a monster improviser. Man, you're always posting videos. If anyone that's watching this, if you get a chance, follow Steve on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Man. Dude, your improv, what would you say as a player is important to practice, as far as foundations? Because obviously you don't just learn a million licks and memorize them and regurgitate them. You kind of just one with the fretboard. You're not really, if you're thinking, you're stinking.
Yes,
so what would you say are foundations to practice to get to that point?
Man, there's so many different ways and different approaches that you can do it. The best piece of advice I could probably give about that is just play all the time. Yeah. I play all the time. My commitment level to the guitar is it's never ending. So sometimes I'll get home, and that's why some of those videos are posted at 3:45 a.m. because I'll get home from a gig, I'll put on Sports Center or a movie or something, and I just pick up a guitar and I just play. So a lot of times what will happen is if I'm getting some kind of groove or something hits me, I'll record it. And if I'm like, oh, all right, well, maybe I'll just post or whatever. And there's a fine, it's this new wave of Instagram, Facebook, and all the social media stuff. That's a whole nother thing. And, you don't want to seem overbearing. But, hey, it's what I do. It's what I am. So, people that focus on their kids, they put their kids up all the time, which is great.
That's who you are, man.
I don't have kids, and I play guitar, and that's what I do. So, but, yeah, just play, And I think keeping your mind open and listening to different genres of music too, because you could be a great anything player, a metal player or whatever, and that's awesome. But sometimes you'd be surprised that look at all the monster country players.
Yeah, man.
They are just they're scary, right?
It's a whole different world of virtuoso, man.
It's a whole different thing, and if you just maybe shun that off and go, oh, I don't want to listen to country, you're gonna totally miss out, on this whole thing that you can add. Even if you're a metal guitar player, you can take those chops and incorporate them in, and now you have a whole new repertoire.
Look at John 5.
John 5, great
He does all
example.
that chicken picking stuff.
That guy, Andy Wood. I don't know if you heard that guy. But
no, I haven't heard of him yet.
He's
look him up.
Ridiculous. He's ridiculous, and keep watching guitar players that are better than you. Because
Always.
You'll just watch them and go, and we were talking earlier, I'm a huge John Mayer fan, and that guy, he won't shred all the time or something, but his guitar, it just seems like everything he plays is like totally appropriate.
Yeah.
And there's a million guys you're going to watch. If you're judging yourself based on watching, all the guys we look up to or whatever, you do your own thing, like you have to kind of, so my long-winded point is that to really you just got to play and just explore, and go for stuff, improv, don't be afraid, luckily with doing the videos, I can stop them if it's really bad and be like, I'm not posting that.
You start getting your intuition starts getting better on what's good, what's not.
You just start to develop that thing. But I grew up kind of being an improv type of guy. I'm like the worst cover band guitar player ever, actually.
I'm the same way, dude. Everything is a loose jam.
Oh man, I mean, and there's some guys around here that, man, they cover stuff and it is just unbelievable. I'm like, wow, the exact delay time, and and I'm just I'm stubborn. I'm not that way.
When I Come Around by Green Day, it doesn't have a solo. It does now. All right, man. I'm gonna and I know you were dreading this question because it's a tough one, but we got to finish strong with it. Your Mount Rushmore guitar players. Got to narrow it down to 4. I know it's hard.
There's 4 on this mountain.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
I googled it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put Eddie Van Halen for sure, just because I think that he was a game changer for me and millions of others. I'm gonna put Hendrix on there, game changer, and as much as you try to emulate Hendrix, you can't really. I can't anyway. So I'm gonna say Hendrix. Here's where it gets so tough. Man, I'm gonna go with Steve Vai, because I think that through all the shreddiness and crazy flawless technique or all this stuff are just is just this brilliant composer.
Yes.
I mean, he writes, and the fact that he literally can write it all out, it sickens me. It kind of upsets me.
He's writing stuff on the fly now. I don't know if you've seen it online.
Yeah,
like having people out of the crowd just say something in the mic and he takes the melody and just composes it. It's insane.
He's so I'd have to say Eddie, Steve Vai, Hendrix. Man, you're killing me with this last one. I'm gonna put Clapton there. I'm gonna go Clapton because he's one of the most soulful guitar players I've ever heard. But I want to say that I was very close to putting John Mayer up there because that's how incredible I think he is.
Hey man, and he's proved to have that longevity.
I think he's the modern day Eric Clapton, so he gets an honorable mention. But I think that's 4. So Hendrix, Vai, Van Halen, Clapton.
That's a killer choice, man. Well, hey, Steve, I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Thank you so much, man.
It's such an honor, man. Thank you,
man. Thank you for having me.